going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap. And boy, are we glad to be back in our studio in LA from, all the pop-ups that we do. It's we're busy people. Like,
welcome home.
We're always working, always doing things, We're too busy to do fun celebrity things,
Only the miserable celebrity things.
Well, I just feel like a lot of our peers were like at the AMAs,
Oh, yeah.
We don't have time for that. We don't have time.
Fair.
We don't have time for the red carpets, the parties.
We're so busy.
I'm just saying, if you want to send a plaplaceholder, I could do that for
no,
you.
of course. Like,
We also were
Nick
not
and Natalie,
invited.
we're gonna see Sierra. Everybody.
Maybe our PR knows. Well, I know our PR knew we weren't available, but to be honest, I was not given the opportunity. But
We didn't get the call.
We did not get the call.
Okay.
We did not get the call.
But y'all were busy.
They knew we were busy.
But
the
they
AMAs knew.
Yeah.
They're like, this couple? They're
It was-
constantly on the go.
It was very fun to see the feedback that we got from our airplane story. It really speaks to, like, if you have kids, and if you don't,
You don't.
but the way people, like, some of the comments were hilarious. Just like, business class is for doing business. And I'm like,
It's
okay.
like people are actually trying to work in business class.
Have you ever raised a child?
Good
It's
for you.
work.
Literally. Full-time fucking job, babe.
The hardest job I've ever had.
I'm working more than you are writing that PDF. Okay.
I will say, having a kid, it makes you so much more, like, empathetic.
Yeah.
In every aspect of life. The way you see other parents on a flight and you just want to help them. When I see a mom with a child
Mhm.
coming on the plane, I'm just waiting for an opportunity to help her with her bags.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, like, intrusive, like, but if there's, you know what I'm saying? Because it's
Let me take that for
different. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God. And then she, like, hits me with her suitcase. Because it's like, why are you stealing my shit? But yeah, it's just, it's difficult. And, like,
The people who were more mad at me for reading the text than for the woman
That was my
talking
favorite
shit
part.
on my kid is like, they're like, well, it was a private text, so she was actually being nice by not saying it to your face. It's like, are you okay? Like, no, for sure, because talking behind someone's back is way better than saying it to their face.
That's like,
for sure.
That's like being in high school. I mean, maybe I'm aging myself. I'm assuming everything's digital in high school these days, but it's like having your desk partner and then on the piece of paper or a test writing a big, like, my seat partner is a big piece of shit. And then them reading it, and then me saying, "Well, that's a private message."
Yeah, why are you copying why are you cheating on my homework?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like you're passing notes and it's like you read the note and it's like
Yeah.
Leia sucks and it's like why'd you read the note? It's like, what do you mean? Why did you Jax
Why'd you write
Taylor?
Okay, Jax.
Anyways, we have a real great episode for you today. I'm really excited about it. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter what we said was going to be. What it is even better. First, we have the hilarious comedian Chris Klemens is with us to talk a little bit more Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. He's a huge fan of all reality TV. Salt
I'm
Lake.
sure I'm gonna like open up about like the size of my something, or I always feel like I open up too much when I get with these comedians.
You love a comedian?
I'm always like, and this is why this happened to me at 10 years old.
You
Like,
always
oh.
know when to go with a riff.
I do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
So he's with us, and then following Chris, Janet
Let's fucking go.
from the Valley joins the Viall Files.
I'm kind of a Janet stan.
I respect the hell for her coming. I mean, I think, how many times have we said Janet's the worst?
Yeah.
We could actually roll a montage.
Literally.
Tuesday's episode.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's people out there who, like, think that, like, sometimes we are critical on purpose to try to, like, almost bait and dare people to come on our show. That is not our
I
intention.
think it
Like,
is the opposite.
it's the opposite. Like, we say this often. We love reality TV, and in a lot of ways, we cover it like sports. We're fans, we're fanatics. We like to break it down. The show started being a show based using reality TV and pop culture as a through line to discuss, like, just to discuss relationships. Discuss people, human interactions. So sometimes that causes us to be critical of people we've never met in person. Causes us to be critical of people who, aren't in control of their edit. And we understand that it can piss people off, and we understand that it might cause them to hate us or never want to come on our show. Like, I doubt Sierra's ever going to come on the show. I wish Sierra would want to come on the show and explain to me why all my opinions are wrong. And I'd be certainly open to listening. I doubt she's going to come. But the fact that Janet is wants to and is willing, I'm excited to meet the person, Janet. I've never met her. I don't know anything about her other than what I've seen on TV, and I very much look forward to getting to know her. And I'm excited she's coming. So I really appreciate her being willing to do that. And this is what this is all about. I love it. I'm so excited. I am so excited to meet Janet, get to know her, and talk about the Valley with Janet. What was your favorite part of last night's Valley episode?
We're gonna.
No, now we're not recapping. I can't help but talk about my favorite part.
Why don't you tell me your favorite part?
Yeah. This is one of those questions. This is one of those questions.
Do you care what my answer is?
You don't. You just want to give me yours.
No, go fuck
Just give
myself.
us
Welcome
yours.
back, Nick. Well, first of all, it was honestly good to see Lala.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
To watch her body, Jesse,
Lala.
like that.
Lala.
Yeah.
Lala,
was great.
another person at times we've been critical of. Certainly you have. When we're recapping Vanderpump on Viall Plus. Shout out Viall Plus if you're interested. But like Lala really knows how to like lay it on.
Mm-hmm.
She ate. She didn't waste any time. She didn't show up to take a casual walk to show an outfit. She came on to deliver great television.
Yes.
She didn't do what Sheena did, which was just stay silent.
No, that was my favorite part. The scene begins and it's Lala and Jesse. And first Lala says hi, almost nice, and then lays into Jesse. And in the background you see Sheena getting a drink, and you see her kind of peek over and be like, "Uh-oh, Lala's having a scene with Jesse." And then like it's Lala and Jesse, and it's Lala by herself. You get like a one shot of Lala, and then you see Jesse, and then as if like a magician said, "Poof."
No. You see her walk on screen.
Well, you see her in the background walk on
No.
screen.
It's showing Lala, and you see just Lala, and then Sheena just come into
Kinda
frame
creeps
and
in.
stands next to Lala and does not say one word.
Just had to be in the scene.
Have
Love
you
that
seen
for her.
the TikTok trend that's like the Jaws music that's like dun-dun, and it's them like passing across and they get closer?
Yeah.
That's giving sheep.
It was my favorite part. It was just so Sheena. It was great. Anyways, we'll get into the Valley when Janet joins us for the show. Apparently, the new location for Bachelor in Paradise has been released, and it is a bit different. And by a bit, I mean night and day different from the original location that was essentially glamping. So, like, Bachelor in Paradise was filmed in Cellulita. It was like at this very in the middle of the jungle, and it was like an outdoor place that had no air conditioning or anything like that.
Didn't y'all not have doors?
No, it was glamping.
Yeah, it's like just free for all the mosquitoes.
But it was like shelters. It was I enjoyed it. I mean, certainly it was muggy and buggy and whatever, but once you got used to it, I thought it was great. And I thought it was great because the food was awesome.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was great.
Mexico.
The wchefs, we had our own chefs where they would make you whatever you wanted. It was really enjoyable. And for me, that's what traveling's all about. Like, if I don't enjoy the food, like, I'd feel very like out of place. I can kind of sleep not anywhere, but like not having food I enjoy or food that's just like tastes like you're just eating out constantly, it just wears on you.
No, I'm with you with that.
So, this will be interesting to see what it's like. I mean, it looks like a very like bougie place. So, have you heard from Wells since he's been down there, Sierra?
No, I've seen his stories and videos though, and I'm just like, his off days, he's just like chilling in a chair on the beach, just like, hey, I guess I'll do an ad from here. And I'm like, okay, looks lovely.
He hasn't said how it's going.
I haven't talked to him, but I'm like, from what it looks like, he's tanned, enjoying himself, watching sunsets with the crew.
I hope I've heard from production, but like it's hard to know what kind of TV it'll translate into because obviously, as we know, there's been a lot of drama when it comes to the production of The Bachelor. There's new showrunners. There's a lot of moving pieces. I think there's a lot of hurt feelings in production. So I'm hearing a lot of complaints from that side. That might just be internal complaints, or will that actually turn into like bad television? I don't know.
I'm curious too, like how they're gonna do everything. Is it gonna be cameras in the corners of the rooms kind of thing? Like, are we filming 24/7? Like, because they have doors now. It can keep people out. So is it gonna be like a Love is Blind apartment situation? Like,
Summer
or
House,
Love
like the
Island?
little-
Love Island, probably.
right? Like, how are they gonna capture everything? And if it's like a hotel, like where's the like ceremony's gonna happen? Like,
is it a full-on like hotel, like a big hotel, or is it like a boutique-y place that has like 20 rooms?
I'm like, from what that
looks like it's
a
like-
full blown
Like a massive resort where other
Yeah.
other people will be?
They're each going to have a roommate. So they're not sleeping in bunk beds anymore. It's going to be like they're each going to have a roommate, and then there's like a special VIP suite that's available for people on
For
certain
couples?
occasions.
A boom boom.
But
Should
like
they
the
want some
boom boom room?
alone
Do
time?
you think they did this because they brought in the golden people and they were like, we can't put them on those,
Man, that's a good call. That's a
Nice.
good
I-
call.
like we got to get them just some double beds.
You're
on
so
like
good
a,
at remembering that
Mm.
whole portion of it because every time you say it, I'm like, wait,
Who?
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if Chuck gets stung by the wrong bug,
You know?
you know.
He can't be in a hammock.
Is there a Chuck?
No, there's a Chalk.
Chalk,
No.
who's
he
was.
engaged
Chalk,
to
yeah.
Chalk.
Joan.
He's
But Chalk
engaged.
is
dating.
happily engaged to
Jack.
Joan.
My guy
Who's it,
Jack will be
Jack?
there.
Oh, he will be there for sure.
Jack will be there.
He'll be
yeah.
grilling.
Jacques.
Gary will be
I feel
there.
like
Yeah.
there is.
The usual suspects.
I can't wait.
My mom did tell me this morning that she's officially not going to go on this season of Golden Bachelor. If she's asked.
Mm.
She
Oh.
said, I've just realized that maybe this isn't the year to do it. I'm like, okay, period. She's
So
like, I don't
she's-
need a boyfriend. I'm like, okay, period.
But she's keeping her options open.
Oh, well, yes, of course.
Beautiful.
She said
She-
next year.
She's also been given advice from people who know that
The
maybe this isn't the
insights.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, like
There-
maybe let them figure out like who's on board. You know, like let them have a run with this production team. You know,
Okay.
let's just see how it
Mhm.
goes. Maybe next season people are, in their more permanent spots, and it feels a little bit more secure.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's a
she'll take a
flow.
run at it.
Maybe there'll
next
be a
year.
bigger budget,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
you know, because I don't think there is one right now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if The Bachelor doesn't get renewed.
Yeah, it's fascinating they haven't renewed The Bachelor yet. I think this is just more. Listen, Hulu is doing a lot of great things. You have the Mormon Wives being a mainstay. They're producing a lot of great content, and like again, the Bachelor franchise is owned by Warner Brothers, and for since this show has existed, there's always been this conflict between the production company Warner Brothers and the distributor ABC, which is now tied to Hulu. And Warner Brothers seems to be notoriously mismanaged right now. They don't know what's going on. And up until now, Warner Brothers has been able to say, whatever, we're the biggest show in town. So we kind of get to call the shots. And now that there is a sea of competition, and now that streamers have the bandwidth to make more interesting content, they don't have to follow the kind of FCC guidelines of, the network television and kind of behold to sponsors and things like that. That just gives them way more leash to make great television. And it seems like Warner Brothers hasn't figured that out yet. And I feel like this Hulu or ABC or whatever, Rob Mills essentially, not picking it up is basically we don't need you.
Wait, it's Hulu not picking it up? Like ABC's still gonna put it on cable television?
Well, no, it's always
ABC
going to be,
hasn't
it's
confirmed.
ABC hasn't picked it up. But at this point, when you watch, I haven't watched network television in a while, but I'm pretty sure when you turn on network television, it actually says ABC Hulu on it. Like they're branding Hulu.
Oh wow.
At this point, like people who are still watching network television, it's just like a commercial for streamers in a way.
Yeah.
So they're kind of one and the same. I mean, Disney Plus and Hulu are owned by they're owned by Disney. So I don't even know how that all,
Hulu's kind of turned into like the dumping ground for Disney Plus.
what do you mean?
Not like reality TV wise, not like in the unscripted, but for scripted, I feel like there's a lot of things that ABC used to do and isn't necessarily matching the brand for Disney Plus. So then they shove it to Hulu, and then it kind of dies on Hulu because Hulu doesn't, outside of their reality TV, Hulu's scripted stuff doesn't get promotion. People don't, my mom is the biggest Handmaid's Tale fan and had no idea it was back on.
Honestly.
I
yeah.
also had no idea it was back.
Yeah, so it's they don't promote anything, which is a big problem across multiple different streamers. But Hulu just their money is not going into promoting Hulu. They're
Which
promoting
is
Disney
crazy
Plus.
because I feel like our Mormon wives have been promoting
They're
nonstop.
scripted, yeah, but the Mormon wives are
they're-
promoting.
Yeah.
And
But,
also,
yeah,
I
they
think
don't
they're
have
unscripted
Elizabeth Moss out there being like, "Hey, everyone."
Yeah,
She did Watch What Happens Live.
yeah. She was on
If you missed it.
she should go on
you
Seth
missed it.
Meyers, but it's
Yeah,
not.
I don't know. That's a good observation. Netflix is, for example, notorious for, they're known in the marketplace for not promoting things,
yeah, they're terrible.
but it's a deliberate act. You know what I'm saying? So usually what happens is they'll drop I don't know why. I'd be curious as to the why. I'm sure there's a reason, but for the most part, they'll drop a show,
A sneaky links.
sneaky links.
You watched a couple, right?
I
What'd you
did.
What'd you
We
think?
haven't had a
I'm
moment.
actually really enjoying it. I realized that I didn't fully grasp the concept.
Mm.
And now that I'm like watching it play out, I'm like, it's a little bit sad, but like a lot of it very interesting. Kind of seeing these dynamics, seeing how like the switch up even instantly from the personalities of like, hey, I'm on this dating show. And then they're like sneaky link walks in and they're like defeated. Like, yeah, I guess I can't be who I want to be here. Like very much watching these. I understand why she wants to get into psychology after watching this because the human dynamics here, wild in dating. Yeah. So I think it's interesting, but I'm on episode 3.
Well, if you guys have not listened to the Going Deeper episode of Jen and Zach, that is out. It's been out. It's got everyone talking. Very fascinated. Like, why am I fascinated? Why am I even acting surprised? It's the amount of like projection, people put on these reality TV stars. Like, for some people, Zach will always be a piece of shit.
Right.
He could spend the rest of his life saving children. And it will be like, nope, it's fake. He can't change. All this is just like now he's seen his mistakes and all the growth is simply it's fake and he just knows what to say. And maybe that's true. I don't know, but like I appreciated getting to see a guy who like I don't know this whole season and the conversation we had with him chose to like take ownership, acknowledge his mistakes, and like step up for his family.
I think one of the biggest shakeups you can have of like realization is like hitting rock bottom, like the chance of losing everything. Like he almost, Jen was like, I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. Like I want to take my children. And I think those two things can really make a person want to like change everything about themselves. So like,
yeah,
how could this all be an act if he like literally, this show isn't anything to him. Like he's
what is he getting other than shit on?
Yeah, it's not like
I was gonna say even as a comparison, and everyone knows how I feel about Jesse from the Valley, but I feel like Jesse from the Valley trying to correct his behavior, it very much feels like he's blanketing over everything. He's like, I'm just gonna say the right thing. I'm gonna act right. I'm gonna be like, it's not me, it's her, but like I still have compassion. Where I'm like seeing Zach's like 180 from season 1 to season 2, I'm like, no, that's a man who's like taking steps to implement into his actions. Yeah. It's not about what he says, it's about how he goes about taking care that scene where Jen's like going through it and he's got both of their babies and he's just like, all right, let's go say hi to mommy and like da-da-da and like keeping everything like upbeat. I'm like, that's like tough times. And that's when you see like real substance in a person showing up for somebody in their weakest times. And
I saw a clip from Jesse on Not Skinny, Not Fat. And
that's exactly what I was referencing.
And Amanda asks him, like, what's different? Like, why wouldn't you call Michelle a whore? Anymore, today. And his answer was consideration.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean?
That's what I said. I was
like that's not growth.
That's
buzzword.
Jesse's kind
of
like if like a alien came to Earth and was just trying to figure out human behavior and just watched Entourage and then is now learning that that's not what everyone does.
It's like he Googled words to say that sound good.
You can tell how proud he was for his answer.
Yeah, he's like, I memorized it last night. Good for me.
Do you think Jesse will come on the show?
I can even spell it for you, and I can give you
I think
the
we'd have
noun
to
version
sage the
and the
room
adjective version.
after, if he did.
We would be fine.
Well, Phaedra's back.
Thank God.
Thank God. Honestly, the second Phaedra came on my screen, I was like, and this is what it's all about, people. Like, this is what Atlanta Housewives is. Thank you very much, Phaedra. I also love the Portia and Phaedra bond of it all. Is so good.
Frickin' frack her back.
It's so good. It's so nostalgic. It feels good in your bones.
I worry for Angela.
She's got Charles Oakley. She'll be fine.
Phaedra being like, he's married? Like, huh? She's like, girl, she's been married for the last like 10 years, over 10 years.
You know about her?
What just goes to Britt Edie's point a couple episodes ago, being like, your man doesn't claim you.
Your man has a reputation outside of you. That's got to be hard to deal with.
Him sitting at that table at Britt's event and being like,
this is my hell.
Yeah, saying nothing.
The look on his face was, I would rather die.
Because what did Britt say to him? Was like, Angela said that I was a whore, or I'm your whore, or I would. What is she?
And he was like, I don't fuck with whores.
He did.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's been 20 years since I went to one of those places. Yeah.
It was really funny because right before I was watching Atlanta, I was watching The Last Dance, and it was Charles Oakley. He was featured in The Last Dance, and then to see him again in Atlanta Housewives, I was like, This is incredible. To just get two sides of that coin of that man is so awesome.
I mean, honestly, that's real love.
Yeah.
For to be an NBA superstar.
Yeah.
And to be a B cast member on the Real Housewives franchise.
Yeah.
Is really not the direction you hope for yourself, I imagine.
Did Scottie Pippen ever make an appearance in Miami?
That's a good. What the way the way the '90s NBA has found itself on
the way the '90s Bulls have an impact in every single aspect of
the way
pop
that
culture.
all of these women were clowning Brit's bare naked event, being like, "And what's in this box? Not even a piece of tissue paper, no confetti."
Even then, her like definition of shapewear, where it's just like
her giving Angela an extra large was crazy.
That was so rude.
That was fucked.
So nasty and so rude.
So nasty.
What is a pre-launch?
So
is that like a soft launch?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like because it's kind of like even the Summer House Amanda Batula swim. I don't know if you noticed there's no swimmer. I feel like it's kind of like
get excited because it's gonna come.
It's happening. The idea has come to fruition. We just don't have the product.
Or like Carl's soft bar launch.
It's not going to be in a van, but you're going to taste it.
Soft bar, soft launch.
Well, maybe it's just like, hey, listen, can I? Filming ends in a week. If you want the free publicity, you need to come up with something.
She's calling for samples. They're like, girl, you ordered them yesterday. No. She's like, okay, pre-launch party. Nailed it.
No, that was nuts. I'm excited for their trip to Grenada, though. And I'm excited Phaedra's going. I think this is going to be...
It's going to be awesome.
Messy.
We're about to get so many good one-liners. Yeah. Phaedra is the queen. It's like, so I see something, I said something, and now I just shut you completely down.
Literally. Well, I guess we'll see. We do have Chris here.
All right. Well, let's bring him up. Get ready to laugh.
Do you know that feeling when your furniture arrives and you're wondering if this will even fit through your door? I know I have struggled with that, and thank God you have the two doors that open at the same time because we would be in trouble if not. With Cozy, they've made furniture more convenient for you. Their designs are simple, easy to assemble, ship quickly in courier-sized boxes. Everyday home furnishing made easy. Cozy firmly believes that furniture should be modern, adaptable, and worry-free. Cozy is built for real life. It's designed to be practical and modern while making furniture with functional innovation at every step. They've made it so effortless living is attainable with easy assembly, pieces that can mix and match while being versatile and multifunctional. With their modular designs, you have endless reconfiguration possibilities. When you're ready to switch up a room, you want an L facing this way, you want an L facing that way, you want a U shape. You can do whatever you want to do with Cozy. Your home, your way.
Open up new home possibilities. And if you're anything like my wife, every week is a new reason to change it up in the room for whatever reason that you want. And with Cozy, you certainly can, regardless if your husband is down to help.
Cozy believes in the idea of easy everything. Also, with having children and dogs, you never know what's going to happen. And Cozy keeps that in mind while designing all of your pieces with washable possibilities and interchangeable covers, making cleanup simple and stress-free. Transform your living space today with Cozy. Visit cozy.com, COZEY, the home of possibilities made easy.
Well, something I've really enjoyed being with my wife, especially after her using Nutrafol, is less of the hair art in the shower, because I am the one responsible for cleaning out the drains. And so to shout out Nutrafol, I just want to say thank you.
You may have heard of Nutrafol's hair growth supplements and wondered, do they actually work? It's a fair question. Many hair supplements overpromise and underdeliver, but Nutrafol is different. As the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, it is trusted by over 1.5 million people and is clinically tested to deliver real results in just 3 to 6 months. I've taken Nutrafol for 4 years now, on and off. My hair was in the best state it has ever been in before I got pregnant. It was so long, it was so healthy, it was luxurious, less hair in the shower. And then I took the Nutrafol's postpartum after I gave birth to River. I recommended it to so many friends who had just given birth. My mom's taking Nutrafol, Nick's mom's taking Nutrafol. Everyone's taking Nutrafol because it works.
This summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code VIALL. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled NUTRAFOL.com, promo code VIALL. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code VIALL. Read and why is my what is going on here?
Oh, mine did that too. Is it the like Touch ID thing? Yeah, mine did that too. I had to go through the little things.
That's me as
Set
fuck.
up touch later.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Don't use. Now it's asking for a password.
00000. That's what I did. Don't tell anyone.
I already forgot, honestly. My brain is so damaged that I'm like,
He goes, this
2,
passcode can
1,
be easily
4,
guessed.
3. Apple, you might be
I
onto
was like,
something.
do you still want to use this? And I was like, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will forget.
You're like, can I also add a hint to it?
Literally.
Sorry, we're buffering.
Same, so that's perfect.
How much time do you feel like you need personally
Oh,
to get
like
through the buff?
days.
Okay.
I
like-
also have a
We'll
dog
circle back.
tattoo.
Wait,
Is-
where?
Oh, yeah, right in there. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, all I see is a really beautiful stream.
Yeah.
It's a river.
Honestly,
It's
I
a
regret
river.
I regret the placement of the stream.
It's a
Why?
river.
The river.
I'll
Because-
do you too.
Excuse me, you little aqua.
Our daughter's name isn't Stream, it's River.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh my God! So
Yeah.
that's why the dog is near the river.
Literally.
Well, no.
Oh,
The dog's near the
Cool.
river because the idea with my tattoos is like these are all my siblings. I have 10 of them, and these are like
Mhm.
this is like moments in my adult life, and this is moments in my child life. But I do think the river would have fit better here, and I think we also kind of hid Jeff
As
a little
soon
bit.
as Wes was done tattooing, Nick was like, I think I should have put it on the other arm. And Wes was like,
well,
And you're done.
we actually can't
he's just like Comanzi.
do anything about that.
Well, this is real.
unfortunately.
No, that there's always that panic in the middle of
Yeah.
getting a tattoo of like, do I like it right here?
Literally.
And then it ends. They're like, do you
Wait,
like it? And you're like, mm-hmm.
Who's that dog? You're like,
This
it'll
is my
fade a little
dog.
bit and it'll look better.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, it never does. This
Never
is my dog
does.
Booger. I need to
Beautiful.
get another one of my other dogs. They're alive. Like they're
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I wasn't sure because I wasn't sure if I was going to ask you about a tough memory.
no.
Jeff is still with us as well.
Yeah. No, she's just a tough bitch. I put my
Do you feel
phone
like she
on-
knows? I think it's mine. Do you
No,
feel like she, okay?
Like
you're
everybody's
really
getting
popular.
past my do not disturb. I'm like, how is this happening?
Nick, how does Steve feel about the fact that he doesn't have his own tattoo?
Well, to be honest, can you really tell the difference?
Yeah, they do kind of
Tell
look
that
similar.
to Steve's face.
Does
I wanted to get something of Steve, but I just feel like 2 dog tattoos that's
then like what
black
if we
and
get
white
another
that
dog?
essentially is
Then
going to look
what
the
if we get
same.
another dog eventually? Then he has to get another
Huh.
dog. It's like, whoo,
Family
that's
album.
Literally,
Yeah, no,
a
that's
lot.
what it's gonna look like. One of those like vintage rapper T-shirts where it's just like all my
No,
dogs.
dude.
Wait, does she know that her name is Booger?
I mean, as much as she knows that she's like a dog, like I think so.
When you call,
Yeah, when
Booker comes.
no, she does her own thing. She doesn't give a
Okay.
fuck.
Okay.
She's like Northwest.
What-
In my household, it's bleak.
Yeah.
I'm like, got it. So you run this shit and pay no bills.
Does she
That's
only come when you like walk towards the fridge or where her food is? Like it's time. You're my
not
best
even
friend.
anymore. Like I'll be
Really?
like dinner, and she's like, "Shut the fuck up, I'm sleeping."
Who let you in?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's so crazy of me to have
Tried to
spent
feed you.
$150 on your fucking dog
On your
food.
fresh food, I see the
And,
carrots. I see the peas.
I'm like, you eat better than I do.
No,
Well, I feel like we already started, but Chris, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm just.
This is too much good. We're gonna use all this.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I was hoping. I was.
because it goes downhill from here. Everyone.
I mean, I didn't even know we were uphill, so I'll take it.
How are you?
I'm great. I thought I missed this, so I am ecstatic to be here.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, I really thought I slipped right through it.
Do you usually like sleep until a late afternoon?
Yeah,
No, like
Are
I
you an
wake
early
up
riser?
early,
You-
but I always sleep with my curtains open. So
Oh,
like
thank
I know,
God.
I know, but
Psychotic.
I'd rather wake up to like sunlight
Have you heard of
than an alarm.
Oh.
Mm.
Like an alarm.
Booger is not waking you up.
No, well she is, but she's not with us. Well, like in LA. Like
Oh, okay.
she's
I was
she's
like,
very much with us, just for the
the
record.
whiplash.
No. She's usually my alarm clock, but
Okay.
I will say, we have a 15, 16-month-old
baby or dog?
baby.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Well, thanks.
Thank
I mean,
you.
Fair
like-
question.
River.
Yeah.
Fair.
River.
I was like,
Yes.
River.
River.
yeah, no, well,
Stream.
that's
Pay
what I'm
attention,
like,
keep
okay,
up.
river.
We've been out of
Quick.
town, and so she's been sleeping with us. And we had to get up at 5:30 in the morning yesterday to catch a flight. And it was the first time for me experiencing my daughter wake up to an alarm, and it was the cutest fucking thing. And she just popped up, and she had this like holy shit look in her face, and kind of smiled but groggy. It was pretty kind
Oh
of
my
cute.
God.
It was pretty cute, but also it kind of felt like, to your point, It's not normal.
It's
No.
not okay.
Just to be in this beautiful
REM.
slumber, to all of a sudden hear,
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
totally normalized that, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, I've gotten to a point now, I don't know if it's toxic or healthy, that I'm like, I wake up before my alarm goes off. So I don't know if that's my anxiety or like if it's
Totally.
or if I'm like, oh my God, no, I rose naturally. So I
All
can
of you
turn
need
this
to
off.
get on the hatch.
Oh my God! If I hear one more thing about the goddamn hatch,
What's the hatch?
I wake up to birds tweeting. So
Yeah.
Oh, that
And
thing?
is it the thing that the light like also gets brighter?
it's
See,
the
like
sunshine.
you're waking up to sunshine. Also, I'm just using the real
But
thing.
I'm not letting
Organic.
Peeping Tom look through my window as I'm asleep.
Well, I have 2 stories and I sleep on the second floor for a reason because I too don't want
you don't
peeping
think Tom has a ladder?
If he's putting in all that effort to look at me sleep, then I'm fucking flattered.
Aren't there any like street lights of some kind? Are you in a part of
Yeah.
LA that doesn't have?
No, I have a house in Delaware
He's
and
rich.
an apartment in Williamsburg.
Oh my God, he's so rich.
I'm just
sorry, that's
fucking
crazy.
loaded.
We met in Williamsburg.
I was like, we did.
Apparently, very unmemorable for you, but I really
I was
enjoyed
like,
it.
wow, I'm really not great at remembering things. Oh, that's so fun. Where?
At the Williamsburg Hotel.
They changed the name. though,
Okay,
which kinda
Rich.
sucks.
Okay, Rich.
We got hooked up. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to post a couple, or Nick, I wasn't. Nick had to post a couple stories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Classic razzle dazzle.
Yeah, yeah.
Love a good
Classic,
little.
I always stay here.
Yeah, like thanks for hooking it up
Wouldn't
always.
stay anywhere else.
Thanks for making it feel like home away from home. You can have that one.
Nuts. So what are you watching these days on your television screen?
Nothing that like I think would make me seem smart.
So,
But
so like us.
yes.
Yeah.
Why you gotta talk shit about our audience?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying that it's not like
National Geographic.
Who watches
No.
TV to get smart?
I don't know. There's like people who like someone's got to be watching those
Like
TED videos
documentaries
on
and
YouTube.
stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm watching Mormon Wives, obviously.
Mhm.
Real Housewives, although we're on the hiatus.
Which housey?
I love Salt Lake City.
Mm.
It can do no wrong. I'm like a late comer to the Housewives. So I started with Beverly Hills like season 10.
Mm.
And then,
We're the same.
yeah, and then Salt Lake happened. And I was like, it was like the Jen Shaw season 2. And I was like, whoa. So this is like Real Housewives mixed with a crime doc. This is amazing.
Literally.
And so then
True crime.
was watching season 2 and then went back to 1. Bad Sisters on Apple TV.
Ooh, what's that?
Oh, was that good?
Oh my God, it's like this Irish or Scottish family. They're UK as fuck, but I never know how to describe shows without just absolutely giving the whole plot away. It's like 5 sisters who don't love the spouse of one of them, and it's like White Lotus, but in the
Reality
UK. No, that's
Scripted.
scripted. Yeah, that's like
Scripted.
I
maybe
was like,
the
Apple Plus is doing reality TV.
That would be
No,
crazy.
I was gonna say, you watch a show on Apple TV Plus that it automatically makes you smarter.
thank you, or just really terrible with money. Either one.
Or
I'm
kind
like,
of a
How much
snob.
is that monthly
Yeah.
subscription?
no, see, that's why I never say Bad Sisters, because I'm like, it's the one I feel like higher brow show that I watch that I'm like, Bad Sisters. I like throw that in there so people don't think I'm.
Have you watched all of Mormon Wives season 2 yet?
Oh, I finished it last night just for this.
Oh my God.
Because I figured we'd be talking
Sure.
about
But
it.
before we get into that, did you hear about Britani Bateman being sued by her former mother-in-law?
Okay, Britani Bateman is my favorite Little Housewives petri
Yeah,
dish.
yeah.
She is a study and a half.
Mm-hmm.
She deserves her snowflake, and the fact that she hasn't gotten it yet is honestly, what are you doing, Bravo?
No, she is amazing television.
Yeah.
Like Lisa Barlow level amazing television.
She like borrowed. What was it?
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star accused of stealing $100,000 from an ailing relative after alleging her bank account was drained.
So Brittany.
That is like so Britney.
Brit.
Like it's Britney, bitch.
She,
And
like,
she's like
offered
running
her an
around
IOU.
Vegas singing like with her 100,000.
Oh my God,
you know?
this singing. Oh my God.
But
she
can
is
you
a
imagine
gem.
stealing? Not well. I'm sure
She
she doesn't think it's
steal.
stealing. She
It says in the complaint,
100 grand.
Sandra, 87, accuses Brittany of using the $100,000 for her own personal benefit. The money was deposited into a trust fund of which Brittany was named as a trustee back in 2021. But she was supposed to be paying that money back, and it kind of feels like she used it.
This is
to-
giving 18-year-old gets a credit card and thinks it's like
Free money.
not money.
Yeah. This is
Free
giving
money.
very much like what I fear every day of my life, that I'm like accidentally stealing $100,000.
You say a limit of 10,000. That means I spend up to 10,000, correct?
Yeah. It's like I can get away with 15,000, right? Wow.
No, that is not.
She's kind of like a woman in STEM right now. I didn't know that.
Oh, she's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, she's a CEO.
CEO.
Speaking of questionable finances, shout out to the Chrisley family for at least being back together. Savannah, who I was on special forces with. I mean, listen, politics aside and all that stuff, and I honestly don't even know the details of why her parents were incarcerated. It certainly was giving white collar crime. I think I don't really know. I don't think she stole from the elderly. So there is that. That's better than Jen Shaw. But her parents,
parents were pardoned.
Were pardoned. And I got to hear Savannah's story while on special forces, and Savannah really stepped up and took care of her young siblings, and she has been through hell. And again, I don't know what her parents did or didn't do, but for Savannah, I am incredibly happy for her that she gets to be with her family. And so good news for that family. I'm sure people have a lot of opinions, but I'm happy for her.
Well, thank God they're out,
Yeah.
And do you think they will go back to filming Chrisley Knows Best?
Oh my, sure.
You think? I feel like immediately.
I think immediately.
They're getting the cameras running.
Oh my God.
The deal's already signed.
I think she is going to be in
the
the parking lot of prison, just rolling
camera crew,
with that
with the camera
iPhone.
crew,
Just right. You have to.
If she's not having a Naomi Campbell sort of exit from prison, send her back.
Send her back a redo. And a
Sorry.
redo immediately.
Like, be wearing the vintage Dolce & Gabbana, like, whatever the fuck, and strut.
I'm honestly shocked that they took that and none of those officers in that prison were like,
Like, whoa, kind of ate.
whoa, what's this in this box
Yeah.
back here?
Yeah.
Maybe we just
She's like,
commit a crime
they didn't catch the
ourselves."
Dolce & Gabbana dress I shoved up my ass. Ha, ha, ha.
They made me cough, but that bitch didn't come out.
A full vintage
That's
gown.
nuts. Wait, so who's your favorite on Mormon Wives?
Ooh, so I started the season out with a ranking.
Oh,
Oh, give it to
I-
us, please.
I mean,
so what's
okay.
in this order?
Bring out the notes. We
This
love
was like
notes.
after the first episode. Like, I found a cast picture and I like did the whole ranking thing. Hold one.
So is this pre first episode?
No,
or
this is after the first
after first
episode. I
episode.
have
Okay.
Taylor at first,
obviously?
Michaela at 2nd,
Mhm.
Macy at 3rd.
Taylor is obvious, but why Michaela and Macy? Give us your reasoning.
I just like they seem the most understanding that they're on television while also like people in the world.
Like still having a soul. almost.
Yeah, there's like something that's like, yeah, it's like, will mom talk survive? But like also like, is my friend okay?
Yeah.
Like there's something like nice.
There's a heart in there.
Yeah. So like I kind of fuck with them for that. 4 is Demi, which that slipped quite heavily. 5 is Jessie. 6 is Layla. 7 is Jen. 8 is the new girl. And 9
5
is
more people than Whitney.
And 9 is Whitney. Yeah. Whitney moved up the season for me though.
Did she?
Well, I don't know if she moved up or if just a lot of people
It
moved
moved
way
down.
past her.
So is your ranking more based off of your enjoyment of watching them or like your judgment of them as a human being?
That is so interesting because I was thinking about that also when I was like
Yeah.
looking through this. I was like, how was I ranking this?
because like as enjoyment of watching pure entertainment, like Whitney is kind of 1B for me.
no,
'Cause, like,
that's I
it's-
understand.
But it's also like ugh.
She's like stirring the pot while I'm smoking it, and I'm like, I love this.
But what I love about Whitney is like she sees her actions so differently than everyone else.
it's fascinating.
yeah, like
I-
she puts on that tiara and is just like, this looks good. This looks
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah.
am
I-
slaying today.
No, I really wish there was like a behind the scenes show that like she gave explanations for all of her actions.
I need to pick me up. Can we play her hospital video?
Nah!
I need to pick me up is crazy.
That's what-
Is crazy.
that
You
really.
know, I'm feeling down in the dumps. Give me Whitney's hospital video.
Oh my God! Wait, this is
It's just
Shh. Nick, you're
not
never
the.
gonna. No.
Boom!
oh,
This-
Wait, is that Hillary Duff's husband?
if you're doing a heart like this, can't say.
I can't even do
Like
it.
who?
I've been doing this so much.
You
lately.
have?
I know.
Why?
I can't. What is she doing?
Because it's like you take
Which finger?
do this and then like there you go.
And then
Yeah.
you scissor them,
and then
and
oh,
then scissor,
and then you do
and then
Barbie scissor
everyone's
kick.
squirting.
Anyways, it's so good. So Whitney's last. Now what? And that's after season. That's after episode one.
I
Episode
would
one.
say I didn't do like an official ranking after last night, mostly because I fell asleep immediately after it was over. But Jen is Demi is definitely like towards the bottom. I don't understand what her plan of attack is. Like I don't think she has a plan, but she seems like she does.
She's
When
so
they
confident.
were sitting doing the like meeting,
Yeah.
you know, like who's gonna be back in Mom Talk?
Oh.
And Taylor's like, I think Demi's out. She's like, we're not voting on me.
You're so stupid. My God, you're an idiot. She's like, that's not what I said at all.
It's
was the
been tough to
most-
watch.
it
And we've
was-
gotten to know Demi in person.
Oh,
and
really?
Enjoyed her
She's
company.
quite lovely in
Yeah,
person. So
like-
the character is
No, that's what's hard about reality TV now is that like before it was like, oh, that's the person.
yeah.
Now it's like, is this the shtick or the person?
We've probably spent 3 hours with Demi total, so I can't say that we're an expert, but we've enjoyed her company.
okay.
I
Mhm.
think two things can be true. I think you can be a good friend and also like somebody I'd never want to work with in a business sense.
So
Yeah.
true.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just like she's over here trying to get her friend kicked off the show.
Like,
She's
well,
like,
which
Which
one?
one?
Which one?
Yeah.
All of
her best friend Jessie. First half of the season,
That-
second half of the season was
Was
Taylor's
Taylor.
out.
That
And
was crazy.
we interviewed Zach and Jen.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it was quite lovely.
It was quite
Oh,
lovely.
good.
You should
I
listen
mean,
to
I'm
it.
so happy
No.
for you, everyone.
Yay.
You know, Zach didn't. Well, I was curious because we had Zach in because I thought honestly, like I thought, okay, you know, I haven't. There's not when in reality TV, there's not a lot of men who see their mistakes and say, I maybe I can be a little bit better. And I felt like this season I saw a little of that. You didn't? No.
Did that
Yeah.
feel genuine to you?
Yes.
Oh,
I saw
oh
it.
yes. Me too.
Yes.
Me
We
three.
can disagree. It's okay.
No,
Yeah.
it just felt like kind of desperate. Like, oh,
What does he have to gain? What is he getting out of this other than
like his family,
sure? But I think that's
like kids and a wife.
but that's what I'm like changing for your family. I find to be like a more of a.
I
kind
guess
of
I'm just a cynical bitch.
Okay.
Guilty,
okay.
Your Honor.
Hey, listen,
Guilty as charged.
you're not alone in your opinion.
I just like it all felt very convenient that he's like, oh, I've seen God, and I'm like, okay.
Well, I think with Jen being like, I'm taking the kids, I'm done. He was like, whoa, like the fact that he left medical school and like had already paid a shit ton of money to like be in it and was like, I'm just gonna quit. Like,
And this
going
be
to
like a
fine,
stay-at-home
like-
dad,
yeah, to
I
be
mean-
a stay-at-home dad.
Okay. No, you guys
and
are
not get any of the credit.
you're raising points for sure.
I mean,
It's just possible. Like who knows? Maybe he'll be a shitbag in season 3. I don't know.
Oh,
but-
we'll
could only
circle back.
hope.
Yeah. But no, Demi,
Just kidding, I guess. I don't know.
Demi calling Taylor a disgusting human being.
Yep.
My jaw was on the floor.
When she was like, "Look your narcissist eyes in my face," and or something, I was like, "Oh my!" I was like, "Shit!" If someone said that to me, I would be swinging, and not in the way that they are. Like I would be like, "Yabba dabba doo."
I mean, and in that way, I think what's been similar from Whitney on season 1 and to me on season 2 is their insane confidence that they're right
Yeah.
when no one understands their point
No
of
one's
view.
backing them up. It's
No
like,
one's backing
they're like,
them
"I don't
up.
get what's wrong," and I'm like, "Well, let's look inward and then also read the room."
Not
Like,
one person is nodding their
Not
head.
one person is comfortable.
There's
right
a
now.
double, triple, quadruple down, and they're just steadfast.
They're like,
I love-
"Right, everyone, this is how we feel."
And then when
Everyone's
nobody agrees,
Ah.
they're like,
She's like, "Oh, okay, now no one wants to talk." I'm like, "Oh my
or
god."
she's like, I'm so disappointed in all of you. And it's just like, girl, you're the only one alone with this opinion.
It's like unreal. I kind of live for it. It's
And
inspiring.
Also, that scene of Demi yelling at Taylor's mom, like I was just like, oh, if you could sleep at night after that performance,
Her
like,
saying
After that
afterwards.
performance
No,
was a crazy
Her
way.
saying afterwards, and I haven't even put on my boxing gloves yet.
Yeah.
Was like, so you're gonna hit her?
Yeah.
Honestly,
It's
though,
Christmas.
if you're gonna fuck with one of their parents, Taylor's mom
man.
is not the
Not the
one.
one.
Oh my God.
I mean,
or the dad. I would.
she wasn't the one before the
new face?
blepharoplasty
No.
and the nose job, and she's definitely not that bitch after.
No.
I'm not afraid of a lot of people, like certainly to confront them or be in some type of, disconnect with them. Taylor,
Besides
Frankie,
me.
Paul,
The whole Paul family.
she is so unafraid.
She doesn't give a fuck.
No.
The way she in Arizona, the way Layla tried to like stand up for Demi, and she goes, no, wait until I'm finished. And she continues going, and then she goes, you can go.
And she's like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Go. Exactly. And I was like
gagged.
Hero.
I was like literally shitting
The follow-up
bricks.
was so good.
No, Taylor, like, really, she definitely needs therapy. But like, wow, what a fucking inspiration.
Yeah, the like just unabashed honesty where it's just like, so how are you doing at the like meeting on the couch? And she's just like, well, I could say something about you, but it's not going to be nice. So and it's just like,
But she's so self-aware,
Yeah.
and she is the first to apologize and take responsibility.
Agreed.
She is. I mean, she might do it again tomorrow,
Yeah.
But she still at least owns up to it. And
Yeah.
I think at least owns it.
and like the level of delusion of like Demi kind of being like, we have to talk about Taylor being in this group because of the opportunities that she's getting, and like she's getting opportunities before us, and then go back 2 episodes and it's like Taylor's being flown on a private jet, being shown like your group chat messages. Like she's not worried about you.
Yeah.
Like Taylor's the only one flying private. Let's talk about that.
Taylor's the only one. If they like took off the show, people actually might be like, you know what,
I don't
I
need to
know.
watch this.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have the
Yeah.
same zhuzh.
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
It's like, who's gonna take Taylor on for season 3? Nice try,
Oh my God.
right?
Oh, I don't know,
I
but
do
I
hear
can't wait to
season
watch.
3 is like so crazy.
Oh, it's already
Girl.
filmed?
Oh,
I think
they're
they're almost
wrapping.
done. And yeah, I've spoken with several people in the know,
Oh.
and they think season 2 is really just an appetizer, which is
Well,
Crazy.
consider me hungry.
No.
Little hungry
Starved.
hippo.
Starved.
what do you make of how it all ended with the accusation that Jesse stepped out?
I don't feel that I have all the information.
Mm,
I
Like,
think you're
it-
smart.
It's
Yeah.
just like I'm not gonna judge yet. I guess I'll have to watch season 3.
period.
But isn't that like how the show started? Was they were all kind of stepping out? So like
Well, Jesse was, by her own admission, a swinger in her first marriage.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So
She's
that's
like, what do you mean, babe? We're not swinging in this?
Yeah.
He's like, it's been 5 years.
she's like, oh, I
He's like,
thought we were kind of
Oh,
still doing that.
I'm so
My
sorry.
bad.
You're not? That's crazy.
But also, are we going to talk about like the subtle hot mic moment with Demi outside the bakery
was
store? Which, by the way,
nuts.
can we talk about how Salt Lake City has a literal baking goods store? Like
As
to
they
buy
should. Trad
like a
wife
wall
central.
of sprinkles. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool, I guess. It's like the Michaels of cooking.
No, with Brett being like,
Y-
what the? She's like, why are you getting so
Yeah,
defensive?
and when the cameras were down, and that's when you know when they're she's like, I just think it's weird. You're defensive. And I'm like,
No, the way that she brought up all of those rumors on camera and all those rumors about you cheating on your first marriage, and then all those rumors about you going to rehab because you were hooked on drugs, and all those rumors that you were like hooking up with all those strippers, and all those rumors that you were like in the.
You could absolutely tell
you
that
killed
Brett
Osama
had
bin
no
Laden.
idea where she was going to bring that up.
no, he was shook. Also, do we think his jaw is real or filler?
I actually have
Real.
like focused
You
on his
really?
jaw in a moment.
Oh my God, he has like a
I think he
Thanos level face.
I think he just comes from a very attractive family. Yeah.
Must be
Really?
nice.
It's like sexy Squidward.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a great way of putting it.
filter.
The jawline is wild.
Some
Yeah.
people are just hot,
Squidward.
you know?
No, totally.
Like Gaston had to be like inspired by somebody.
Beauty and the
Beauty and the
Beast.
Beast.
Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Oh.
about Taylor Green's boyfriend for a
way that
second.
my
I was
I
brain
like,
literally
did the
didn't
same
know
thing.
what we were
Yes.
talking
We
about.
don't love Beauty and the Beast? No? Sorry?
We
Just
do.
me?
I guess I
Love.
don't have an opinion.
We're rewatching a lot of Disney movies with my daughter, so maybe that's.
Aw.
It's on the brain.
You're like, I guess I'm just a really good dad, I guess.
yeah, I guess I'm just present. So
Well, actually, turning on TV is maybe not that present.
because she's like in the other room and Nick's still watching, she walked out and Nick's like, "Oh, it's the best part, honey." She's
Wait,
gone.
no, that's so real though. So many of my friends have had babies, and I was just over at my friend's apartment, and her baby was there, and I was the one playing. I was like, oh, we should make ring toss out of like I was
Yeah, we're
fully
playing with the
enthralled with
toys.
like infant toys. I'm like, this is telling.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
Sorry.
So you've been a photographer at Fashion Week.
Oh my God, yeah, but that's like
I feel like you have some good stories.
I have like a past. Like I've lived 100 lives.
We love that.
Yeah, I went to school for photography.
Where?
at NYU.
Mm.
And so I thought I was going to
Bougie.
be, no, it just means that like I had a ton of student debt. But yeah, I thought I was going to be a photographer and then I've not done anything with it.
I actually do have one complaint for Mormon Wives. My one complaint for Mormon Wives is the 10 episode seasons.
I think that can just be like
The
said.
dropping all at once, or just that there's 10?
The dropping all at once, and also just the fact that there's only 10. Like, I feel like I want like a full season.
Remember when TV shows used to have 20 episodes
22
in a season?
episodes
Yeah.
and then a 3-part reunion.
Yeah, thank you.
Back
I
when
feel
reality
like they
television was
do
great.
have the content for it.
Well, you already teased at the end of the season, like the fight between Jessie and her husband, and then it was like this like micro clip, and then it was like, all right, tune in for season 3, and I'm like, I would tune in to 100 episodes of this season. Watch me during Love Island,
Give it to-
okay?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm running Hulu, I get why they limit it to 10 because like there's so much in these 10 episodes that like
But,
you can
like-
call it a whole season. I agree with you on the why are we dropping it all at once? There's too much. There's so many like little meaty things in each of these episodes that like we're kind of just forgetting to talk about or bringing up that we could dissect if like we could watch an episode or two at a time and really enjoy it. But like we're watching 4 and then we're like, wait, was that in this season or last season? Or-
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I also feel like we missed so much because like Macy and Michaela posted a video of them being like, why do all these girls fight all the time? And then they're like us when we're filming and it's them doing like a cute little TikTok, but they were clearly like dressed in some sort of hunting garb that like made them both look like the Thing, and it's all like shaking and whatnot. And it's like, we'll never see that. Didn't see when that happened, what day that was, and I want to see it all. I want the cutting room floor.
Yeah, there's
Put it in a
there's
100 episode
a lot
season.
of deleted scenes, which like, why are we deleting?
Yeah, like just add the episode.
We want it.
We want it. I'm
That's
following all
crazy.
of them.
I honestly think it's funny because with Mormon Wives, you know, for all the conversations that since reality TV has existed about like, well, like the Unreal that was like loosely based off the Bachelor franchise and all the horrible, evil things like producers allegedly did and things like that. I think honestly that show has always been widely exaggerated. I think it was far more true about reality TV in the past. I can say with like Mormon Wives, I mean, these women are so giving
Yes.
that there are a lot of things that just don't make the edit because it's just like there's a level of consideration about these people's real lives, and I think there's a lot of things that just don't make it because it's too heavy and too much and too dark, and I think they are playing the long game.
Ugh,
You
but I
know,
want to watch
I think
that.
it's, you know, when you're the Bachelor franchise and you cast 25 new people every season, and it's just like you just squeeze whatever juice you can out of these people because fuck it, we're done with them. There was no Bachelor in Paradise. There was no Bachelor Pad. There was no like trying to build these characters. You could kind of screw them over and just be done. With these
Right.
women, you got to be careful about like, you want to nurture these relationships. You don't want to screw really any of them over. I think there's a lot more consideration than people want to give credit to the producers and production of these shows. They're not the evil reality TV producers that I think so many of us grew up thinking they existed. I think there's a lot of consideration for these people's lives, and that's just how crazy it all is.
Yeah, it's like, to be fair, as soon as I'm done watching, I'm just going through all of their their TikToks and I'm like, okay, who are you mad at? Let me try to figure out who this is about.
They recently all like followed each other back. They're back commenting on each other's stuff.
Whoa.
Whiplash.
So it's
Nature's healing.
See, that's-
nature's healing.
that's playing the
world
long game.
peace is
Thank
coming
God.
along. The
Thank
world
God.
hunger is now cured.
I know. We're just
It's-
they're really pushing the needle forward.
I don't know how genuine that all is though, because they're still talking shit in the comments.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did see Demi comment on Jesse and Whitney's. Jesse and Whitney are in like Amsterdam right now. I don't know what they're doing.
Jesse and Whitney?
Yes.
That's a
Doing
really
some sort of
crazy
press for
duo.
Disney.
Okay.
And Demi commented and said, "I'm so jealous. You guys look so cute." Did I miss a chapter? I'm
That's
like,
that's where I'm
"Hmm."
always like, can we at least get like a timestamp of where the last scene was filmed?
Yeah.
Can I get
So I know how far this is.
a
Like, if-
screenshot of the text message where you said, okay, I guess we're friends again?
Can you
Right.
imagine
Literally.
being producers of these women, waking up every day with being like, fuck, jeez, could you guys just stop, take a vacation, please? Like
they're
we
just do a little dance,
Yeah.
please.
Can you guys stop talking to each other for 1 month? 1 month.
They can't. They can't.
Oh my god.
Demi just texted me.
Wait, suddenly I'm a little fly on this green wall.
Suddenly, he's perched on that little leaf over
Yeah.
there.
Who is that? And you guys, that's a statue. Look away. I'm like painted gray,
You
and I'm
do
like,
have to be naked though if you're gonna be a statue.
I'll do it. I'll commit to the role.
Period.
Chris, where can people enjoy your hilarious comedy?
I am doing live shows. I have a show in Seattle tomorrow, Portland. But I'm on YouTube. I just launched a new podcast, Chris vs. the People.
Love.
TikTok, Instagram, the whole.
You do a lot of crowd work in your stand-up, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. You like
I
get a lot
love
of
it.
confessions.
Yeah, I've been interviewing people on the street in New York for like over a
What's
decade.
a question you would ask me if you were to stop me on the street?
Um,
Pull one out of the files. if
see,
you
I
could.
always have to. Let me look at my notes.
Oh yes, of course.
Oh, I love
Assistant.
like the. Oh, if the purge was real, who's the first influencer you're hunting down?
Oh my god.
So who? Come on, little miss, I want a question.
Have you heard of Natalie Joy? I fucking hate her.
Oh, I hadn't realized.
You're like, I hate her, I want to rob her.
Literally.
Just bleep that.
Period.
Oh my god.
James Charles.
Ew.
Oh, I
Isn't
love
that who
that
you wanna
one.
kill?
I don't.
Good on.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was like who we're robbing.
Oh, Robbie.
Like, because it's the
Robbing.
purge.
Oh.
I
Oh,
thought you
kill.
Purge
Yeah,
was
James
murder. The
Charles.
whole point was murder
Oh,
for
yeah.
24
Did you see him on the
hours.
red carpet?
I saw
Which
it at the
one?
AMAs, and I was like, "Are you
And
fucking kidding me?"
James?
and no one took a picture of him.
Wait, James?
Yeah, there was like no flashes in front
That
of
brings
him.
me so much joy. I'm a hater at heart.
No, he's
Same.
kind of he's truly a
He's
horrible
literally,
person.
like,
He's
standing-
repulsive, and I will die on this fucking hill.
I'll
Wait,
die with you.
You have to watch a video of him on the red carpet. Not one flash.
Oh my god, this is what it's like me on a carpet. Oh my god, gag.
When paparazzi
Don't
have
give a
morals and
Yeah.
don't give a fuck, you've
That's
done
crazy.
something bad.
Yeah,
Like, you know, there was one that was like,
hold.
Sorry,
in
guys.
solidarity.
We can't.
Everyone's like, oh, it's the pedophile. No.
No,
we're
next.
good. We don't want to be complicit.
Yeah, paparazzi having morals is crazy.
Not on the bingo card, but like,
That's crazy.
we're getting somewhere here.
Something is healing.
Something.
I don't know what.
Not sure at all.
Something.
Chris, please come back, man. You're welcome anytime.
I would love to. You need a floor rug. I'll be it.
It's great to have you.
Thank you so much.
And where can people find you on social?
Just Chris Klemens. You can search Chris vs. the People on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. Yeah.
All right. Up next, Janet from the Valley faces us. If you're running a business, every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a plumbing emergency. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait or call the next one on the list? Chances are you moved on. With OpenPhone, you'll never miss an opportunity to connect with your customers. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines and scales your customer communications. It works through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying two phones or using a landline. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number and collaborate on customer calls and texts like a shared inbox. That way, any teammate can pick up right where the last person left off, keeping response times faster than ever. Plus, with AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, you'll be able to automate follow-ups, ensuring you'll never miss a customer interaction again. So, whether you're a one-person operation drowning in calls and texts or have a large team that needs better collaboration tools, OpenPhone is a no-brainer. See why over 50,000 businesses trust OpenPhone. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/VIALL. That is OPENPHONE.com/VIALL. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Well, we all know that I am obsessed with matcha. I have to have one every single day, and I'm saving money. I'm making it at home, and I'm making it at home with Peaks Sun Goddess Matcha. It is the best matcha, honestly, ever. It's so easy. It comes in these little packets. I just put my ice, I put my milk, I put my Peaks Sun Goddess Matcha packet, I put a little bit of vanilla, and it is the most delicious thing I've ever had. I usually have it after lunch because sometimes I would bloat, but not anymore because unlike coffee, which left me jittery and crashing, the matcha gives me a calm, sustained energy that lasts all day. It's packed with L-theanine for focus and EGCG antioxidants that support firm, clear skin and gut health. Because let's be real, great skin starts in the gut. So I'm not just drinking a cute little fun drink, Nick. I'm drinking something with vitamins and something that is good for you and something that my body needs.
Well, as a non-matcha drinker, I absolutely love their BT Fountain electrolytes. This is hydration on another level. I used to drink so much water and feel dry and depleted by midday. You all know how difficult I think drinking enough water is. Turns out my body just wasn't absorbing it properly. BT Fountain has clinically proven ceramides that actually lock in moisture at a cellular level, keeping my skin and body hydrated from the inside out, and the glow, whew, it's insane. My skin has never looked so plump, fresh, and dewy. And let's talk about purity, because not all wellness products are created equal.
Peak goes above and beyond with quadruple toxin screening, meaning every ingredient is tested for heavy metals, pesticides, and mold. No artificial junk, no sugar, just clean, science-backed hydration and energy.
Life hack, people. One thing that has really changed my health this year is I've stayed away from simple sugars, and I've stayed away from simple sugars by finding great and healthy drink replacements. Instead of drinking fruit juice that's full of sugar and Arnold Palmers that are full of sugar, I have found great tasting things like BT Fountain Electrolytes that allow me to have a wonderful drink without the sugar.
If you're tired of feeling depleted and want to finally nourish your body the right way, now's the time. Get 20% off plus a free rechargeable frother and glass beaker with our exclusive link, peaklife.com/VIALL. That's PIQUE life.com/VIALL. Do not sleep on this. Your body and skin will thank you.
Janet, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm scared a little bit.
Fair. We've been critical, as I like to say, of your character on television. Never met you in person. And I just want to say thank you for coming, because lots of times the people we tend to be critical of don't show up or don't want to come. So props to you for being willing to come, because, you know, we've obviously have been critical of you on the show. So I do want to thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I always look forward to these conversations, because I know what it's like to be on the wrong side of reality TV and have people like say things that I don't agree with. But do you even list? Do you know what we said about you? Do we know?
I've had a couple fans recently, I think in like the last week, be like, they said there's a chair welcome for you if you disagree, you know, on whatever they're saying. So you need to go and set the record straight. And I was like, all right.
Thanks to those fans.
So I do the thing, you know, I'll go to the podcast transcripts, search my name. I'm like, all right, I got to see what's going on here. So I've seen a little bit, but nothing wildly offensive. I think it's fair that, you know, anything you guys have said that has been critical of me, I think is fair as a viewer watching.
Okay.
And I do think that there are a lot of misconceptions and things. And I feel like this was the right environment to talk about those, because I really feel like you guys, like I listened to your podcast with Michelle. I felt like you guys did a really beautiful job of kind of getting to the bottom of a lot of misconceptions she had. And yeah, I'm excited to have the platform, sharing your platform with me to talk about those things.
Thank you for coming. Since you brought it up, what did you like most about that episode? For us, I mean, it was tough, you know, just seeing their dynamic with a child involved is always kind of a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And Jesse is welcome. He has an invite to come. I'd love the opportunity to hear his side, as he likes to point out there are two sides to every story. After hearing Michelle's side, I have a harder time believing that his side has any weight to it, just because her side I thought was so compelling.
Yeah.
Do you see it that way?
Yeah,
as well?
I think the hard thing with Jesse and Michelle was we didn't see kind of everything that was happening in their marriage while they were still married. We saw the very end and like the downfall of it. But, you know, for years before that, we kind of saw Jesse being MIA and not being the best husband. So then all of a sudden when it was like, well, it's all Michelle's fault, you know, the people who know them best were like, oh, it's not. Like this, you know, this guy has not been great for a very long time. And we're just seeing, you know, the end where maybe she's made some mistakes, but we're not seeing the whole picture.
I feel like I heard enough when she was like, he knew that my mom was sick and dying and he still treated me this way. And that was where I was like, all right, there may be two sides to every story, but that tells me everything I need to know about
I completely agree. And I will say, like, Michelle found out that her mom was going through health issues, but she didn't have a diagnosis. She found out her mom had cancer right before we filmed season 1. So she was also, you know, coming to terms with that news while having a camera on her face for the first time. And then right before we started filming season 2, she really found out that it was like a month's left situation. And I adore Michelle. She's one of my closest friends, and watching her do everything that she's done, like she is one of the strongest people I've ever met in my entire life. I don't know if I would have been able to show up and share my life and go through the stuff she did with Jesse while also dealing with my mom sick at home and also being like the best mom in the entire world she could be. So watching her navigate the last 2 years through all of that, like I love her so much, and I really felt for her.
Jesse brings up Michelle cheating every single episode. And Michelle has acknowledged that she kissed some guy. And I'm not saying that's nothing, and I'm not saying it's okay, but the level of disrespect or even like emotional torture that it seemed like Jesse caused Michelle, like it just, and I guess from Jesse's point of view, and by point of view I mean like the way he sees himself as such a victim in this relationship, I guess I get why he has this attitude, but it's just like, what do you believe? Because what I would love to know, and I'm curious about your opinion, is that to me, Michelle kissed a guy at the tail end of their shitty relationship, to me is like an eye roll.
I agree.
Does Jesse believe that she did more, or does he acknowledge that's all she's done?
I think he knows that it was just a kiss, but I think he has enjoyed other people putting it out that it's something more. And, Michelle and I had lunch right before we filmed the reunion, and I sort of said, all right, tell me the whole story. Because I've always heard bits and pieces of things, and Michelle's opened up to me, but she really laid it out, like the entire story of everything she did wrong, in full detail. And I was listening to it and I was like, that's not that bad. And not that I condone cheating at all. Like I think it's horrible, but I think that the narrative that has been put out there that she like had a boyfriend for a year or a year ago or had a boyfriend at all, and all of these things that were being said, I'm like, that's not the truth. The truth is 1% of like the wrath that she's getting. If she really was having a full-on relationship or affair, then maybe she would deserve some of the, backlash she was getting from it. But I'm like, you kissed somebody after you told your husband you wanted to separate, and like you were kind of checked out of your marriage and things still weren't changing. That to me is like a one-time mistake and a forgivable offense. It's not like this, she's been having these boyfriends for so long and this whole thing that everybody's been saying about her. I'm like, the truth is very mild compared to what everybody's saying.
Jesse enjoys like feeding into that. There's probably more that happened narrative to make her look worse.
Definitely. And still like sticking by also like, oh, I heard this rumor, like, come on, Michelle's not doing that. It's just not like.
Here's a moral question. I'm sure there'll be a lot of opinions on both sides. Because like in a marriage, obviously it takes lawyers to end that relationship. But if you ask for a separation, I guess your partner can say, I don't, is it cheating after that?
I think when she asked for a separation, then he begged her to stay and was like, please give me another chance. I will start showing up for our family, showing up for you as a husband. Give me like one more chance. And she, as a woman who has a child with this man, wants to keep her family together, was like, okay like that's the least I can do. Let's like meet with this life coach. I'll give it some more time. I don't want to she didn't want to get divorced. She didn't want this to be where she ended up. Like she wanted a happy family, happy husband, happy child, all of that. So I think, she gave him another chance because it felt like the right thing to do, even though maybe her heart wasn't in it anymore.
Well, maybe for Jesse, like if you want to save your marriage, maybe don't go to a life coach who you're friends with.
Yeah.
I always, whenever anybody tells me they're going to a life coach, I'm like, licensed therapist. They're licensed for a reason. Like,
or just like someone who's like not
reason.
your bro.
Yeah.
Scream into a pillow, bro.
Yeah.
The scream into the pillows.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Focusing on you for a second. You obviously, we've talked, we've been critical. I think I called you the worst the other day.
You did?
She's like, oh, and I'm out.
Walking
didn't
off.
see that in the transcript.
It's a figure of speech. But you've gotten a lot of criticism online. What, from your point of view, before I kind of ask you specific questions, like how do you feel the most misrepresented? And I guess because you mentioned, I understand why some people feel the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
So is this like blaming the edit, or is it like things are out of context? Like, can you explain what you mean by all that?
I think I would say like the biggest misconception I feel like I have that you guys have been critical of is the fan thing. And I feel like this has been something that's kind of like run wild, that, I've always admitted that I was a Bravo fan before I met Sheena. And it was more like I liked Andy and Watch What Happens Live and a lot of the Housewives. I absolutely had seen Vanderpump Rules. I'm a millennial from Ohio. I'm like their target demographic. Of course, I've seen Vanderpump Rules. But I think I've always, admitted that for years. Like we talked about how we met. I went up to her and I was like, you're Sheena from Vanderpump. Let's take a picture. But we ended up spending the entire day talking. We talked about what it's like getting divorced in your 20s, which both of us had done, starting over, like all of that. And I think fans and other people have like encouraged fans to be like, Janet stalked Sheena. She sought out a place in reality TV. She was like evil, conniving, trying to, maliciously work her way into fame. And that's something I can't own that is annoying to see about myself because it's not true. I think that there's a lot of people, I've always I've been a fan for years. That's how Sheena and I met. Sure, it's like odd, I guess, to start a friendship as a fan and somebody who's on reality TV, but I never felt embarrassed to be a Bravo fan. And that's the truth of how we met. So there are a lot of people like in our friend group who will be like, oh, Vanderpump Rules? I had no idea what that was. I just made friends with these people completely organically, and I had no idea that they're famous. And it's like, that weirds me out. I'm like, I know that you saw it. You're lying, but like, why? Like, just admit that you saw the wildly popular show that these people were on. You thought it was cool. And yeah, that you ended up having a real friendship with them.
Right.
So I hate that people make it like a malicious thing, but that's, and I hate that, I feel like some of my friends have leaned into that and encouraged that narrative.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fun narrative we've joked about. I honestly don't even, I see your point. And actually everything you said makes a lot of sense. And I also think it's, to your point, it's a popular show. At this stage of Bravo, in its existence, there's not a single person who gets cast on the show who isn't a fan of the show.
Right. Honestly, Michelle's the only one. She was the only one before season 1. I was like, have you seen reality TV? And she's like, I saw one episode of the recent Kardashians. I'm like, the self-produced recent Kardashians? And she's like, yeah. And I remember right before we started filming season 1, Michelle goes, what's the drama even going to be? And I was like, oh boy. I was like, oh no, So Michelle might be the only one who truly never really saw reality TV or anything before being a part of it.
Nia and Danny kind of the people who were like, who's this?
I actually don't know, truthfully, if they saw the show before. I think Danny met Jax and Britani through Teddy Mellencamp. So it was like they were aware when they met them that they were on a show. They made friends with them. Gotcha. Knowing that. I don't think that they had like weird ulterior motives to like get on TV using people. Right. I don't think anybody did that. And it's interesting, like, people are like, Janet used Sheena. Sheena and I have been friends for almost 9 years now. Like, it's also like, if I was slowly working my way, like, 9 years is kind of a long play. Like, it's kind of a long time to be. I'm like, in that time, like, and no shame to anybody else who was seeking a spot on reality TV, but like, I've never applied or auditioned or went out of my way to like try to get on any show. Britani came to us a few years ago and was like, we're pitching this. Can we give producers your name? At first, Jason and I were like, Jason's like, I can't be a lawyer and on reality TV.
That makes sense. Yeah.
After we talked to, his partners at his law firm and producers, we were like, this actually could be a good opportunity for us. I was a personal assistant before this, working like 60 hours a week, constantly managing somebody else's schedule. And right when it kind of all came together, like, I had just quit a job. I was like, oh, like with a celebrity, I was like, this is not the right fit for me. I had quit, found out I was pregnant like 2 weeks later. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to like immediately start interviewing before I'm showing. And then Britani, producers and Britani were like, hey, we're greenlit. Like, they want us to do this. And that was kind of the moment where Jason and I had to decide, like, which path do we want to take? Do I want to immediately start interviewing and try to get another assistant job before I'm showing? Or do we want to like take this weird leap of faith, see what happens with this? And if it's, we were like, we'll do it for a year and see what happens. And here we are now.
Well, being a fan of reality TV and certainly understanding how it works, how did you approach going in? Like, did you have, I guess, and the reason I ask this is because I guess more my actual criticism of your character that I watch is, if I was being generous, I would say, this is someone who knows reality TV. Maybe you were a fan, whatever, all that aside, but like that you want to play the villain, that you want to stick your nose in where sometimes it doesn't belong, that you want to call out people for things, because as a character, whether I'm critical or not, like you are giving, and I pay attention to scenes that you're in, and villains are stars of shows. And so, yeah, like sometimes you say shit that I'm like, why would you fucking say shit like that? Like you, as a human being, if you were in my friend group, I would take exception to how you you call out some of your friends. That would be my actual criticism. But how would you respond to that?
I think even knowing, being a reality TV fan, watching Sheena, Ariana, my friends, Katie, everybody do this for years and years, I maybe went in season 1 a little cocky thinking like, I know how this all works. In that like, you have to share, you have to give your opinion, you have to do this stuff. I think as much as you can like almost watch everybody else do it, there's nothing that can really prepare you for having it be your life, your group of friends, real stuff happening that you have to address in the moment. And I definitely did not go in hoping I would be the villain. Like that was something that surprised me. I've always maybe said things I shouldn't say, gossiped a little bit more than I should. That is like, something I would consider maybe a flaw of mine or something that has gotten me in trouble with friends in the past. But it definitely wasn't. I wasn't like, oh, I want to be the villain because that, whatever. I went in and was like, I'm going to be myself and try to be as authentic as possible because I feel like the people I've watched do this that are authentic to themselves and don't hold back are the ones that come off the best. Like if you try to write your own story, it's very clear to me. So no, my goal is not to be the villain. I would have loved to be liked. Like that would have been nice. Yeah. But I think, definitely some of the things that I do and say rubbed people the wrong way. And I get that.
The good news is, in my experience, often the stronger, bigger personalities at first are criticized because it's sometimes a lot for the audience to take in. But if you have the opportunity to come back, which you guys do in an ensemble cast, the more consistent characters are, you find your fan base. You may not be liked by everyone, but you will find your people who say, I'm a Janet. Yeah. Kind of like on Sex of the City. Yeah. So that there is that. Do you have what is your most regrettable moment so far while filming The Valley?
That's tough.
You can list more than one.
I feel like in season 1, I wish I would have spoken up more and explained more about the like racist Republican thing because I still feel like that's really misunderstood.
Remind me again of that.
It's like such a wild, long story. But Michelle and I, right before season 1 started filming, it was actually the day she found out her mom was sick. We had dinner and we ended up talking about a bunch of political stuff that was coming up. Michelle had one comment that like rubbed me the wrong way. And I mentioned it to Jasmine. Again, this is like, I probably shouldn't have done that. Like mentioned it to Jasmine and Jasmine ran with it to Zach, who ran with it to Kristen. And by the time it ended that telephone, it had changed from like, I'm worried she might support this bill that's not great for the gay community to like a racist Republican. I'm like, I didn't use any of those words. That came like through Zach and Kristen. And that, like, I wish I would have explained that more in season 1. I also wish I wouldn't have been on such a high horse about my pregnancy, maybe season 1. Like, when you're pregnant for the first time, I was like, I am putting a force field around myself. Like, I don't want to be stressed at all. Anybody who was giving me stress, I'm like, I'm pregnant. Like, leave me alone. And I watch it back and I'm like, oh God. Like, but at the end of the day, I also had a healthy child, so I'm like,
maybe it worked.
Doesn't, I don't care at the end of the day. I'd rather stand up for myself and put this bubble around me and end up with a healthy child. So I don't know. I'm sure there's other regrets that I have, but those are the ones that stand out the most to me.
I have more questions, but I just do want to open it up.
No, you're on quite the roll. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was wondering, like, do you feel because you were talking about being authentic to yourself and like those people shining. I'm like, do you feel like the depiction of you is accurate from like what we've seen thus far on The Valley? Because I'm like, obviously we only get to see like a little bit. Yeah. So we're all just kind of coming up with who your character is based off of that. So do you feel like that's an accurate read on who you are?
Yes and no. I think that it's sort of like bullet points, but there's always more to the story. There's always stuff, I'm married to a lawyer and we have very like logical, debatey conversations often where we're like, we see things that are shown. We're like, but they didn't show this or this or this, or like, there's more to that story. And that with this context, it makes more sense why I said this or why I did this. But I think it's one of those things with reality TV. It's a 45-minute episode. And with as many people as we have, you can't include every bit of every backstory. So there are definitely pieces. There's stuff that I see myself where I'm like, that is me, good, bad, ugly. And then there's stuff where I'm like, oh, if people knew kind of the whole long version of the story, they might see it differently.
Right.
What do you feel like made you so uncomfortable about the Danny in the closet thing? Was it because you know that they kind of protect or hide certain parts of their relationship, and so it felt to you like, oh, he's hiding this?
Yeah. It was a couple things. One, I had a very long conversation I wasn't there Halloween night when Danny put his hands on Jasmine, Melissa, and the other people that night.
How many people did he?
I know of like a few other friends that don't have anything to do with the show that also had that experience. And after Halloween, I wasn't there. I was like 8 months pregnant at home. Jason and I were at home. But like the day after, Brittany called me, Jasmine called me. We had pretty long, extensive conversations about what had happened. And Jasmine was really shook and was really reasonably, I think, bothered by what had happened, along with the other people that were involved. And for me, when he came in the pantry, I was just immediately, I think, I don't know if it's just like being a woman, but like when a man comes into the room in like a small area and closes the door, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like it just was this weird, like, oh, I'm not super comfortable, but paired also with like, I know that you put your hands on our friends when you were drinking, and like here you are drinking and I'm in like a closed confined space with you. It just made me feel not great. And I was like, if you're hiding something, wait 5 minutes for me to get my Easy Mac and get out of here, or like 30 seconds even. Like, I just was like, if you're hiding, whatever you're hiding from, if it's hiding from cameras, if it's hiding from Nia, I don't want to know about this. And I felt like there had been a couple times where things had happened with Danny. I had told Nia privately, but I'm having to break news to her like, hey, your husband kept this thing a secret. I don't want to have secrets with somebody's husband. And it just, I also didn't want to blow this pantry thing up, like to be maybe even as big as it was. It just was a moment where I was like, oh, this is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So for the fans who see it as Danny and Nia are the healthiest couple in this group of people who seem fairly toxic, and that well, no couple's perfect, and every couple has shit they deal with. I think it's just more, when I say healthy couple, it's more how you deal with it.
Right.
So I really, as a viewer, well, maybe it's a little boring, respect how Nia and Danny go about their relationship and seem to, whatever happened with Danny and his, the touching, obviously inappropriate.
Yeah.
I appreciate his willingness to hold himself accountable and apologize as many times as people seem to want to demand apologies. Like, I would love an apology from Jasmine. So
I haven't watched it, but I'm
still triggered by it.
I get that. I mean, I think it was the accountability thing. I think is also something that all of us that kind of like struck a chord in Santa Barbara, because once you get to a point where if you're drinking so much that you're putting your hands on people and making them uncomfortable, you can say, I'm sorry, all you want. And that's great. And I think at first, like, Danny was saying all of the right things and apologizing very sincerely, it seemed. Jasmine sent me the text that he sent her. I think it was a couple things. I think all of us assumed, if you black out from drinking and you wake up and you're told you grabbed your friends' butts and made these inappropriate sexual comments to them, you also want to see not just a written apology, but change in actions and behavior afterwards. And I think in Santa Barbara, we're like, here he is under a roof with all the same people, still getting blacked out drunk. And I think he should have been a little bit more aware that that was going to make people uncomfortable.
So in Santa Barbara, he was blackout drunk.
I think so.
But can I ask, because I think this is like where it's getting a little confusing for the viewers, is that it seems that he did do something different by putting himself to sleep, and then everyone had a problem with the fact that he was asleep.
I think it wasn't necessarily just that he was asleep. I think it was when we're like, hey, where's Danny? What's going on? It was he's napping, he's this. And we kind of seen that before where it's like, we're all at dinner and Danny seems to start getting drunk and Nia's like, our babysitter called. We have to get out. And she had never really just been able to say like, Danny's had a little bit too much to drink and is annoying me, so we're going to go home. Right. It was kind of constantly always other excuses. So in Santa Barbara, we're like, it's kind of clear what's happened here. And instead of just being able to say, hey, he drank too much and he's passed out and like, let's all leave him there, it was like, he's worked so hard. And it's all of these, and I understand like wanting to keep positive, but it's also like at some point we're just never going to acknowledge that something's happening here.
How do you guys distinguish between Danny's drinking and the rest of the group that also seems to be extraordinarily heavy drinkers? And in some cases, drinking or alcohol seems just to be the tip of the icebergs of the substances they seem to partake in.
I think it's a couple things. One, everybody else seems to be pretty honest about it. Like if we all get drunk, I'm not seeing people say like, I wasn't drunk. I didn't drink that much last night. And also Danny put his hands on people. I think it changes, when you grab someone's butt and make sexual comments, like your drinking now is worrisome and giving people a little bit of anxiety. So I think, if Jax, Jason, Jesse, anybody else did something like that, we would have the same concern.
Do you have issues with the way that Jesse spoke to Jason in Santa Barbara? It was clear that Jesse was pretty drunk when Jason came to check on him in his room, and he kind of got aggressive with him.
Yeah, I think it was more like when Jason came in, I think cameras came in too. When I watched that, I'm like, he's not so much yelling at like Jason to get out. He was like, I'm done, everybody out. That's kind of what I got. But also like, right before we went wine tasting, Jesse had been up all day, I guess, since like 6 a.m. drinking, and admitted like, oh, I've polished off like 3 bottles of Prosecco before we got into the wine tasting. So it's like, what am I supposed to be like? You're drunk. He's like, I'm drunk, everybody. I drank. So it's kind of hard when some people are seemingly hiding things and trying to paint a pretty picture, and the rest of the crew is just like, yep, we're drunk. There is a difference.
Okay.
And I think it's also just once you put your hands on people, for me, that would have been a rock bottom moment.
Is this hands-on situation? Has this been a recurring problem, or is this again doesn't make that incident okay at all?
Mm-hmm.
But has that happened multiple times, or was this one night where it got really out of control and he really needed to like check himself in a way that he never had to check himself before?
I think that was the worst of it. That one night was definitely like, I haven't heard of him grabbing somebody's butt and making sexual comments like that. I think that was definitely the worst night of it. But there have been other nights where he has been drunk and acting inappropriately in a way that I wouldn't want my husband acting, or anybody who's married acting.
The way Danny drank a glass of water when Jasmine
when they met up again for another apology.
At a bar.
He ordered that water real quick.
Piggybacking off of that, I guess, with Jax's behavior, obviously at the beginning of the season and entering a facility, I know he's out and I don't know what happens for the rest of the season, but how are we handling Jax's integration back into this group of friends, or are we drawing boundaries? Because if Danny's offense, where I'm like, I feel like what Jax has done is
so much worse.
Definitely
worse.
Definitely.
Not even
comparable.
Yeah, I think that's what, especially this show, I think that's what a lot of fans struggle with, is that there's this one incident and everything you're saying is valid, and I think everyone agrees, but it seems like it's getting a whole lot of attention versus some of the atrocities of some of these other castmates.
Yeah.
And the way you guys are hyper focused on this, and just like it's been like 3 or 4 episodes, and like all the jokes aside of the Jasmine strangling me and things like that, there just seems to be like, I mean, yeah, that did make me uncomfortable. There was a blackout moment, and that's, I think, where the audience is struggling, which is like, it's not okay, but given just the characters of this group and how they act and how they treat each other.
You've got Jesse calling his
ex-wife a
whore.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just like the way you guys gloss over that is.
I don't want to gloss over any of that.
Yeah.
And I think that, in real time as everything was happening, I mean, I've been extremely critical of Jax and made it very clear, like, Brittany's my girl. What she has been through is not okay. It's absolute hell. And I will say, like, I talk to Brittany every single day. I don't really have a friendship with Jax right now. The thing with Jax is and I guess Jesse and Michelle too, is like, my goal for all of them is to be able to be healthy co-parents eventually. Like, the things Jesse and Jax have both done are disgusting, horrible. Like, I have no problem saying that. Like, that's the truth. But I hope at the end of the day, I want to see all of them improve. Like, I don't want to just be like, you know what, Jax is a shitty person. Let's all write him off and treat him as if he's dead and hope he just goes away. Like, that's not what is best for Britney. That's not what's best for their child, Cruz. What's best is him staying sober. The 2 times I've seen Jax in the last, I don't know, couple months, like one time he came over and had a heart-to-heart with Jason. And I was like, all right, I'm going to Britney's if you're in my home. Like, I'm not going to stick around. But I told him, you need to be in AA. You need to be in therapy with a licensed therapist. You need to work on your anger or you're going to lose. You've already lost it all, but you're not going to get anything back unless you start working on this stuff.
Are we certain that Jax being a part of Britney's life and her son's life in any way is the best solution? And I know that's an extreme thing to say, but this is an extreme man
Yeah.
who, since episode 2 of season 1 of Vanderpump, has been a horrible person to his friends and his partners. And so much so that I honestly, and I'd love your opinion on this, at this stage of watching this relationship, Britney and Jax, I have a hard time empathizing for Britney. Just the amount of excuses she has made for him, and he's so obvious in his treatment that it almost kind of comes across as her finding a way to monetize his shitty behavior for the sympathy of the audience, because that's just how it comes across, because he's so terrible. And at some point, while I would agree that in most cases, hey, listen, divorce is a real thing, and sometimes it's the best situation for everyone involved, especially the children. But there are some people who don't deserve to be parents and don't deserve to be involved. And being a parent is a blessing, and it's something that, should be protected. And some people are dangerous, and some people are horrible role models, and some people are Jax Taylor.
Yeah.
And are we sure that the best thing for everyone is him to be a part of this family?
To be honest, I don't know. I think that's up more for Britney to decide. I really think she was in love with this man for a long time and did believe like he would get better, he would change for her. Like, I think that's like something that happens in a lot of relationships where you're like, ignore the red flags and just hope that you're the one that can change this, mess of a man. I think, when it comes to Cruz, Britney's put a ton of distance there. There has been weeks, maybe months even, or a month, where Jax didn't get to see Cruz because of his behavior. And I think it's, just a process of her, and maybe she will get to a point where she's like, I've had enough. If you're not going to change, you're not going to see our child. But I think that's her decision. And I've always been supportive if she needs breaks, from him. I'm like, yeah, if he's treating you like this, you keep Cruz where he's safe with you. And I think, it just depends. It's up to her. I have a hard time saying like, you know what? Yeah, Jax should never be allowed to see his kid again. Like, that's not for me to say. And I check in with Britney, and wherever she's at, like with him at that moment, I try to be supportive of that.
Are we going to see going forward? Obviously, I guess Jax gets out of rehab soon. Are we going to see the men hold him accountable? Because we've had the scenes of Danny and Jason kind of coming into the house, Jason even driving him to rehab, kind of put their foot down and be like, this is not okay behavior.
You're going to see a lot of conversations. I don't know if it'll satisfy the I feel like a lot of people, and I get it, want to see Jax really held to the flame. I think it's a tough situation. Right when he came out of rehab, all of us are like, all right, well, let's see if this changed this man at all, if it helped. So, the second he gets out, I don't think it's the best time to be coming down on him really hard. It was kind of like a test for us to see did this therapy and rehab help him at all?
Do we feel like we already knew the answer just because of the rage texting he was sending Britney during the entire time?
What kind of rehab allows someone to rage text and stalk their partner?
I don't know.
Via
security cameras?
Yeah. I mean, we had the same questions, all summer while he was in there. It was like, how does he even, I was like, block him, I don't understand.
How do we know he wasn't just at a beach in Mexico? It's like,
well, when Jason walked in, when he dropped him off, he made sure to go in and kind of give a brief, hey, in case he's trying to charm you guys in here, I want to let you know, he's struggling with this, this, and this, and these are the reasons he's here. So he wanted to make sure that, the therapists and everybody there were aware of what he had done. And I think he really did stay at the facility.
Okay.
Britney did a a check-in, there with him and brought Cruz to see him once. So I think he was there, but it definitely seemed really lenient from what I
Yeah.
understand rehab and treatment facilities should be. So I had the same, all of us had the same worry. We're like, why does he have his phone?
Yeah.
So one thing that, back to the accountability part, and I think Jason has even said this much, and I find it infuriating with this group. They'll say something like some version of this to Jack about Jax or to Jax. We know you're a good guy, but it's like, why do we? How, in what world do we know he's a good guy? What about anything he's done over the past decade suggests that he's any kind of a good guy? And why does Jason? And I would say this to Tom Schwartz, and I have said this to Tom Schwartz, or any of the Danny. Like, why do they give him the benefit of the doubt?
I don't think it's necessarily a benefit of the doubt. I think that they have seen, Jason's particular has seen a different side of Jax. Like when we all got really close, it was like over the pandemic, we were neighbors and we saw Jax and Britani. It was sort of like the last time they were happy. And we saw them like at home with their son, like in a very different light, I think, than you saw Jax on Vanderpump Rules. So I think that that's where Jason's comment about that is coming from. He's like, I've seen you be a good guy. I've seen you be a good dad. I've seen you at home doing the right things. I know you can get there. But what we're seeing now is you not doing any of those things. And you need to work on yourself. Jason's also, I think, one of the only people that Jax really listens to, and it's this weird thing that somehow has worked where like I talk to Britani and I'm there for her every single day, whatever is going on. Jax sometimes will tell Jason like, I've been so good for like the last 3 weeks, everything's been perfect. And all of a sudden, Brittany's like icing me out again. And Jason will be like, then Jason and I come together in bed and he's like, what's going on with them? And I'm like, well, he did this and this 2 days ago. So that's why she's upset. And then Jason can be like, Jax, you haven't been good for 3 weeks. You just did this 2 days ago to Britani, and talks it out with him. Why would you do that? What led you there? You need to work on your anger. And Jax does listen to Jason. I know Britani really appreciates their relationship because it kind of is the only time that he stays on good behavior is when he has these like real talks with Jason.
It was an accusation that seemed to go nowhere, and I actually quite appreciated Jason's response to it. But the ring commentary. I will say, as a newly married man, I love wearing a wedding ring. I never take it off. So it is a bit like confusing when like Jesse or anyone else was like, well, when I forget to put it, I mean, I know Natalie, like when she does her makeup and, she does nails and stuff that, women take it off. But as a guy, I just like, what?
You like it so much you have two.
I love it. Literally.
She's very taken.
Yeah, double taken.
Double.
Just, ladies.
In case one falls off, there's another.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's really anything to say, but like we're there. Did you say to Jason, like, why are you ever taking that? Why are you taking it off?
Jason and I both, when we're at home, don't have our rings on. Like, it's just, we have like ring holders like next to our bed at his office. Like, I have one next to the couch, and we just truly like don't wear our rings at home. When we go out, it's like we put our rings on. But like when he goes to the gym, when he's out and about, he doesn't wear his ring. That's never bothered me. Jason's like the most trustworthy, good guy.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me.
Really believe that he is extremely trustworthy and has great character. So I'm like, a ring is not some sort of force field that like protects you from ever doing anything wrong. What protects my husband from not cheating on me is the fact that he just is not a cheater.
Okay. We are big Kristen Doty. Well, we're friends. We know her. And we're fans as well. And while she's certainly not perfect and not always right, what I do love about Kristen is she is consistent with her loyalty. And I love the way she stands up for her friends. Where do you stand with Kristen today?
Kristen and I are not in the best place still. But that being said, like she's 9 months pregnant, I think right now, due like very soon. I remember when I was that pregnant, like the littlest thing is just like, can ruin your day or, set something off. I right now, like truly when I think of her, am trying to send like all of the positive thoughts and energy her way, because at the end of the day, Chris and I had a very real friendship for a very long time. And while we might not be great right now, I am so happy for her. She is going to be the best mom. I'm so happy that she has Luke and that she's like in this place in her life. So while we might not be in the best place, I really do I'm happy for her and I want her to have like the most healthy end of her pregnancy, birth, like I don't want to throw any stress her way right
Do
now.
you hope that your friendship will get back to where it was?
I don't know if it'll ever get back to where it was. Like, we were friends that talked like hours on the phone every day. We saw each other all the time, like knew everything that we were, I knew where she was at 24/7. She knew where I was 24/7. Like, we were very, very close. I don't know if it'll ever get back to that, but my goal this past summer and, in recent times has been, I really want to get to a place where we can have fun together and like at least be able to be in the same room and not have like animosity and just be able to like, hey, we might not be best friends ever again, but can we just like have a good time at Dave and Buster's? And like, I was like, the more like happy moments that I can make with her, I was like, that was my goal this summer. Like, I was like, nobody's gonna like fight in Dave and Buster's until like Jesse and Michelle suddenly are like having a whole meltdown there. But I'm like, Chris and I can have like a fun time at Dave and Buster's. And then we can go to Santa Barbara and have a couple good times. Like, we make a couple happy memories. We'll at least get on that track. Blurting out this ring rumor kind of threw that all off for me. I was like, okay, I was really hoping we would be able to have like a peaceful, fun summer. And when she blurted that out, like my initial response was like, I looked at Jason, I was like, this, like I could just tell on his face. I'm like, all right, I have nothing to worry about. He's not reacting with any sort of like guilt or nervousness. I'm like, all right, this is fine. But later I kind of like sat with it and I'm like, wow, but even though I'm not worried about what my husband's doing, this sucks that like this person that I'm trying to create happy memories with and move forward with is coming for my husband in marriage.
Which I totally get. But my question is just to follow up on that is, since you guys were so close, why do you feel like it's impossible to ever get to that place? Because hearing your version of it from an outsider's point of view, it makes sense why you were so close, but it also makes sense because it seems like the thing you're most critical of Kristen is something that you're also guilty of, which is sometimes saying things out of pocket and to hurt people when you're hurt.
Definitely.
And knowing that you guys both do that to each other, why can't you, just from your point of view, I mean, I could ask Kristen the same thing when, if I get a chance to do that. But why can't you, well, I understand why it's all upsetting and understand why you feel the way you do, offer the grace of like, well, I've done that. And if we just stop doing that, maybe we can have that friendship once again.
That was kind of my goal. I mean, the beginning of this summer, we sat down and have a conversation where I apologized to her. I'm like, hey, I roped you in with the Zach stuff. I should have said the stuff about him, but I shouldn't have included you in that. I was like, that was wrong of me. I'm sorry. I apologized for calling her crazy. That was not something I should have done. And I think that's, I sat across from her and said, I'm sorry for these things. And I said, are you sorry for anything that's happened? And she said, no. Still after that, I was like, let's let it go. Who cares at this point? Let's try to have like a fun summer a little bit. So I still, even though I didn't get an apology, apologized to her. And I'm still like, all right, come to my birthday party. Let's have fun. Let's try to move forward. Then this ring thing came up. So it just felt like I kind of felt like an idiot. I'm like, why am I trying so much with this person? I'm apologizing, not getting any apology, and inviting and including her, trying to make happy memories. And she's taking all of that and then being like, but your husband, it's like, all right, well, I'm kind of an idiot if I keep trying at this friendship when you're making it clear you want nothing to do with me.
What about Zach?
Zach and I have finally gotten to a place, I think, of a little bit of peace. I would like to move forward with him too. The things that happened between us were really difficult to work through, but I think the reunion was good for us.
Okay.
And since then, I reached out and I've texted him a little bit and we've had small talk, but, the beginning of a not screaming at each other, like just having some text exchange that's not like, you said this, you did this. And I was really appreciative. Like when he went on Watch What Happens Live, he took the high road and I was like watching the whole time being like, he's going to say something horrible about me. And I watched and I was like, oh, all right. Like, okay. Thank you, Zach. I was like, I will share that same sentiment when I go on Watch What Happens Live after you. Like, so it took me a long time to move on from the stuff that Zach had said, but I really did get to a point where I was just like, I'm done with this. I don't want to think about it anymore. People make mistakes. We've beaten this dead horse to a pulp. Like, I want to move on.
Before we let you go, do you regret or stand on comparing your ex who struggled with addiction to Danny?
Yes and no. So, for me, what I was seeing was often at like our group dinners and things, Danny starting to get a little drunk, Nia visibly looking uncomfortable and being like, we got to go. And there was just a couple times, or often, I guess, when they were around where I was like, oh, his drinking, it appears, is making her uncomfortable and giving her anxiety, and she's needing to get out of these situations. I've been there, and maybe I projected too much of my own experience and feelings onto her. But everything I was kind of clocking was like, oh, she's being made to feel uncomfortable and have anxiety about like not letting people see him drunk, or, kind of hiding these things. He's drinking in the pantry and hiding it. Like the things that I had experienced were things I was seeing with them. And I felt like in Santa Barbara, it all came to a head where, all of us were talking about it when she left the table. So when we had this opportunity to sit down all together, just the girls, and she's saying like, hey, the thing that hurt me the most was that you guys waited until I got up from the table to say these things. I'd rather you guys say things directly to my face. I was like, this is an opportunity for me to not do the shitty thing and go behind her back and talk about it. The second she leaves, I wanted to say to her face, one, like, I want you to know about this pantry thing because I had talked about it with others in Santa Barbara. So I want to say it directly to your face and tell you what I saw. And also I was like, I am feeling this way of like, the stuff I'm seeing is how I felt when I was, with an ex who had issues. And I felt like we all kind of bit her head off in Santa Barbara about his behavior. And I didn't, if there really was something that going on there, if there really was an issue, if she was really feeling uncomfortable about his drinking and all of that, I wanted her to know, like, it's not always going to be all of us biting your head off and blaming you for it. If you're really struggling with stuff, you do have friends. I've been there. I felt like it was my goal was like, it's not a horrible situation that only you're going through. I've been in this situation, or what I perceived as a situation that she was in. And if that's what's going on, I want you to know that you have people to talk to about it, that we're not always going to do what we did in Santa Barbara and bite your head off.
Do you think
Did not go well.
Do you think it's possible that it has more to do with the fact that she is just trying to protect her husband from the cameras and the microphones that are there filming you guys, as opposed to be more similar to your abusive ex?
I think it's, just to be clear, my ex-boyfriend just had, he had some drug and alcohol substance issues. Like it was never a abusive, I think he abused drugs and alcohol, but
I apologize.
So I was just, it was like one of those things where, I don't know, I just was recognizing a lot, and I was like, this seems like the same thing. And I'd rather say it directly to her. If I'm feeling this way, this is my friend sitting here saying, say it to my face, anything that you guys have an issue with. And I felt like it was the right time to say, if this is what's going on, I've been there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she did not take it that way. And, maybe I was off base in thinking that, but that was just how I felt in the moment. I was observing, a lot of instances of this. And I was like, I think I should say something here to her face. I wish I didn't now. I wish I would have just let it be. I think, it's at the point where if she's comfortable, if she and Danny are comfortable with his relationship with alcohol, we've all said our piece. We need to let it go now. And I think it's up to them to decide what they're comfortable with moving forward.
If that was the state of that meeting of like, hey, say everything to my face, as soon as she left, why do you think Jasmine kept it going?
To be honest, it was I think we were all planning on sitting down and kind of dissecting Santa Barbara and really instead of concentrating more on how Danny and Nia felt and what they were going through, I think we really did need to, that was the time that we should have acknowledged Jasmine's feelings and how she was feeling triggered and not well with the whole thing. And because Nia then opened up about her childhood and she's crying in front of us, and I mean, it hit us all, in the gut. We were like, oh, this person has been through a lot that we had no idea about. And while we really appreciated that, it's like also hard, I think, for Jasmine then to look at her friend who has tears in her eyes and say like, hey, I still need to talk about like my feelings though, and like how I'm not okay still. And I think it kind of took that opportunity away from Jasmine, or she didn't feel comfortable like saying directly to her face like, hey, I'm still triggered by this and this is why, and I want to work through it. So I think it, unfortunately, then when she left, I think Jasmine's like, I'm still not okay, and she was crying, and I think all of those feelings are valid, and I wish she would have expressed that when Nia was right there. But I also understand, because when somebody's crying and talking about their childhood, it's not exactly easy to be like, well, I still have like a bone to pick about the situation. It's not like the easiest environment to say something like that. And to your point earlier also of like, you know, protecting people from the cameras and everything, none of us are here with like a gun held to our head to participate in, you know, reality TV.
I think it's fair to suggest that maybe Danny and Nia are not built for this environment. I just kind of could see it as just that rather than there's a deeper, darker reason.
Totally. But the thing is, I respect them, the way they handle things privately. I think it's just in this arena, we all kind of agreed to show up, to tell our truths, to talk about our lives. And I think if all of us did it sort of the way they are, then we're not really talking about anything. Or if all of us are, you know, skipping dinner, going back home and missing things, then, you know, you never have all of us at the same table together. So it's a fine line of like, I very much respect them for how much they love each other, how much they, you know, how much she protects him and their way they handle things privately. I admire that. But I also think like at some point then maybe look at like, is this the right place for us then? A place where you're being asked like to share your life openly and honestly and dealing with things out in public instead of behind closed doors.
Do you and Jason ever fight?
Oh, of course we fight. Of course we fight.
Are we going to get a
Never seen
Janet
it
Jason
on
fight on
TV.
camera?
Season 1, you saw me snap at him. He left me alone to cook for everybody when I was like 7 months pregnant. And then Jesse snapped at me and Jason's like, whoa. I was like, oh, hell no. And I stormed off. And I remember having a moment where I like went into our bedroom and like, of course, Jason and cameras are running after me. And I was like, okay, I have like 10 seconds to decide. Do I lock the door and hide from this and like deal with it privately and just pretend everything's okay, and then scream at Jason when we don't have mics on? And I took like a breath and I was like, we signed up for this. Like, and so, you know, tears and all, Jason comes running in after me. There's cameras in our bedroom. I'm pregnant, sobbing about having to cook dinner. Like, Jason and I don't get into huge like blow up fights, but anytime, you know, that we're filming and that something comes up, like, we take it as it is because that's our truth. Like, I don't have anything to hide where I'm like, oh, we get into these like blow up arguments behind closed doors, but to cameras, we hide that stuff. Like, you know, we have our normal disagreements and arguments that as they come, we're like, we got to share this because we agreed to share our personal life with an audience. And this is part of it.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Well, Jen, I want to thank you for coming and
for having me.
facing all these questions. I really sincerely appreciate it. I do have one last question back to the why I have a hard time empathizing with Britani. It's just like, in what world can Britani act surprised? Like this past episode is like, I can't believe he wasn't paying the mortgage. And it's just like, I can't believe that you were thinking that you were trusting Jax to be responsible in any way. And I think it's that kind of just constant behavior from Britani that it's just like, I mean, what are we doing here? Why aren't we learning from your mistakes? And that even if her one mistake is to constantly think that Jax is going to show up in any sort of way, like why do you think she does that?
That's tough. I think Britani truly was in love with this man. I think she had rose-colored glasses on for a very long time. I remember the first time she called me right around the time they separated and was like, finally like let it all out and was like, fuck him, like, and fuck him for doing this and this and this. And it was like, and I was like, oh, finally. Cause there had definitely been stuff when they were married that I'm like, that's not okay. That's not cool. Like, and she, oh, I know, but he didn't, you know, and I watched her make excuses for him. I think she did it for so long that it's hard to break the habit. And I truly think she was in love with this man, unfortunately. And she actually had seen him do some good things. So I think she gave him like, he would give her a breadcrumb and she would be like, that's all I need for, you know, see, he did this one thing right. So I think she gave him the benefit of the doubt a lot because she was in love with him and wanted him to change and thought he could. And I'm seeing somebody now that's not putting up with any shit. Like, I think if and when there's a season 3, you'll see a much stronger and different side of Britani that's putting her foot down, putting boundaries in her life that are important. And of course, it's going to be a daily struggle, like holding this person accountable. And some of the stuff he did this summer, it's like so big and horrible. And it's like, honestly, even from Jax, it was like shocking. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't pay your mortgage? Like, what do you mean like this and this? And it's just, I can't be too mad at her for she's trying to break a habit of being the one who always was an apologist for him and defending him blindly. And I think old habits die hard, but she's definitely a lot stronger now. And I think, if you saw and talked to her now about Jax, you'd see a different side than even just a year ago.
Okay. Well, Janet, thank you again.
Thanks for having
Where can
me.
people follow you on social?
I'm at Janet on Instagram.
You got Janet?
I
Wow.
did get Janet.
It's just Janet?
Yeah,
good.
just
Wow,
I don't.
pretty
Janet
impressive.
Jackson's team really fucked it up.
Yeah, they
because
did. They
I don't know
really
what
dropped
they
the ball.
They really dropped the ball there, but yeah, somehow
Okay.
I got it.
All right. Well, thank you, Janet. And thank
Thank
you guys
you.
for listening. Thank you to our guest, also Chris Klemens, as well. We will see you back on Monday. Don't forget to listen to the Going Deeper episode of Zach and Jen if you haven't already. Next week's another banger. We'll see you then. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.